Good morning. Welcome back to Kevin Toll Reads. Today I have a book review of The Canceled Czech by Lawrence Block. This is book number 2 in the Evan Tanner series. I read this book over the course of the last 2 days and really enjoyed it. It was fun, and we're going to jump right into it. This book was published in 1966. It's in the genre of mystery, thriller, fiction. Again, this is a series, an 8-book series by Lawrence Block. It was written in the 60s. You definitely have to take that in consideration when you're reading. There's no internet, there's no computers, and things are a little more old school, for a lack of better expression. So the overview of this book is, again, we have the very funny, very interesting character of Evan Tanner. Evan Tanner is a war hero from a Korean War, where he sustained an injury which puts him in a state of permanent insomnia. He hasn't slept in over a decade. And in this particular entry, the chief makes a very clandestine way of reaching out to him because they think his house is bugged and his phone lines are tapped. And so he meets up with this chief, which we still don't really know the name. We got a little bit of him at the end of book 1. We don't know who the chief really is, what his real name is, or do we know what organization in the U.S. government, special, organization he works for. And so he thinks that Evan has the skill set and as well as the connections to spring a Nazi war criminal from a high security prison in Czechoslovakia. And so the war criminal is named Janos Kodacek, and he is needing extradited from this Czechoslovakia high security prison. And so they enlist the talents of Evan Tanner. And Evan Tanner definitely is the right person for this. He definitely has the connections. Again, if you don't know, he is a very avid supporter of various obscure groups, and where he makes donations. And so those end up paying dividends for him. And you see throughout the story, he's befriended by a lot of different people, and he social engineers his way into the success of this mission. And so it's very interesting. There's definitely a little moral and ambiguity to the story, in the sense, what you're dealing with. And there's definitely various interactions with Nazi, the Nazi party, where the setting takes place in Czechoslovakia, Prague, Lisbon. And so it's very interesting to read about those times. I don't do a lot of historical reading, so to get some in a fiction story, even though it's fiction, I thought that was pretty interesting. Another character that's in this story, Greta, who helps him, I enjoyed her character. He meets her in Czechoslovakia. She is a German, but yet she's not a staunch German, and she doesn't want anything to do with an American or even Jewish people as well, as she has no qualms there. And so I thought that was really interesting. She's a very passionate person, and she uses those passions to aid Evan in his mission. And if you read the book, you'll understand what I mean. So some other things I liked. Obviously, I like Evan Tanner as a character. I mean, I'm on book 2 of an 8-book series. I find his character very intriguing. I definitely want to see where Block takes the character. I still like the fact that his home base is in New York, and he's writing papers for college kids, whether it's term papers, whether it's thesis and doctoral papers, and he makes money from that. And he also makes money from these missions that he does. And so I like that. I like the fact that he's still making donations to various organizations, from nationalist parties to Flat Earth Society, various book groups and such, and those all seem to always aid him. And so I definitely see him continuing to do so. I find the read very fast. I like and dislike how Block puts a lot of the premise of the story in a very ambiguous way, in the sense that not everything is fleshed out. You definitely have to, it's almost, for a bad analogy, it's like you're putting together a jigsaw puzzle and you're missing a couple pieces, but you can still appreciate the work as a whole. That's really what these stories are. He did so similar in the Scudder series, the Matthew Scudder series that he wrote, and I read through. I thought in certain books it was a little more like that, and you have to piece together kind of the plot. And I enjoy that. It's refreshing. So, in terms of dislikes, again, what I just mentioned, the ambiguity of his storytelling can turn readers off. It really could. Again, I like the pace and quick reads like of these books, and I like the overarching character enough to continue to push through even with the ambiguity of the storytelling. So that's just me, but that can turn people off. In terms of rating, I give this a 3.8 out of 5. I definitely thought it was decent. It wasn't as good as the first one, because at first one, it's more about learning about Evan. So obviously that was very interesting to me. This one, the plot and premise was okay. I enjoyed it. It was, again, a nice quick read to get away from some of the other things I've been reading. So I enjoy it for that aspect. And I enjoy Evan Tanner as a character. I'm definitely intrigued that I'm going to continue to read these. I will plow through all 8 over the course of the next several months. And I enjoy him. I really want to see where he takes the character. And I'm hoping what I've come to expect from Block is there are going to be some good ones. And there are going to be some ones that are just kind of average. So that's my review. Evan Tanner, book number 2, The Canceled Check by Lawrence Block. I give it a 3.8 out of 5. Hope you're having a great Wednesday, and I will talk to you later.